Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. This is going to be more on the addendum of the Saturday card at Churchill Downs. I've covered the Chicago Stakes, which is race number 7. You should check that video out if you haven't done so already. What we're going to do today is preview the late pick 5. So it's going to be we've already done 7, and then we're going to do 8, 9, 10, and 11, and make a pick 5 wager. And I'll go over the races, and we'll look at some past performances. I've watched the races myself. I'm not going to post videos on them, but I will describe to you what I saw. So remember to subscribe to the channel, number 1. Smash that like button while you're at it, number 2. And if you have any questions or comments or hot takes or whatever, you know where to leave them in the comments section. And let's get started. Okay, so we begin with race number 8. It's going to be 8.5 furlongs for fillies and mares, 3-year-old and up. It's a maiden $120K price tag. So I kind of thumbed down through the first few. Penny Royal, Kiss Me Again. None of these look really good. Blinkers go on for number 2, Kiss Me Again. Number 3, Chilled, is the first kind of contender that we see. But I don't like the speed figures. If you go up here, you see the average speed to win this race is right around 84. That's Brisnet numbers. And you can see pretty even pace across the board. You want a little bit of late running abilities. So I've skipped over the 3 as well. And number 4, Jolma as well. The first one I come to was number 5, Save Time, was the first standout. Chad Brown trained filly, improved in every single race up to second, just missed by a head. So she's got to be due to get that maiden breaker. Adding blinkers to get her more forwardly placed should help as well. And Axel Concepcion, quality jockey in his own right. So this one is going to be definitely on the list. Number 6 is Genetics. That's Bill Mott trained. Tyler Gaffley on rides. That jockey trainer combo, hot in the last 7 days, probably hot always. So this one's definitely going to be in here. Second time Lasix. I believe her second start of the year. Yes. She came out and ran second. Pretty quality race there. Just no match for the winner. Had one on May 25th at Churchill. So this one carrying 118 pounds. I think most all of them are. There might be one that's carrying 122. Another one that I found interesting was number 7, and that's Queen of Paris. That's Brad Cox trained filly, who failed as a favorite in her debut. That was going 7 furlongs, and she closed to 3rd. So the stretch out should be a plus. 31% trainer when he's beaten the favorite. Florent Giroux, Brad Cox. I mean, just a sharp workout leading in. So just not really there on the speed figure, but that was just making her debut. So she should improve, I'd say, drastically. So second time, like I said, second time on Lasix. So that one's definitely going to be in there. Now, the next one is Murphy's Gift. Murphy's Gift has been off since last November. Failed at 1 1/16, gave way down the stretch after briefly being amongst the leaders. Trained by Brendan Walsh, making her 24 debut after running hard before tiring out down the stretch. First time Lasix plus blinkers could offer some value coming in. See, whenever you see that L that's boxed in black, that's first time Lasix. So Brendan Walsh, solid trainer. Kristen Torres, solid jockey. Outside post is going to be maybe a slight issue. Just not winning at a high clip at Churchill did during the meet. So the next one is a horse I'll be interested in too. Number 9, Sustancia. This one was just out there fast on the lead and then just got gassed out down the stretch and gave it up late, going a mile in the slop. So I think that might, and this is actually 6 on the all weather. So I think that she'll be fitter coming into this race on her 3rd career start. And I think that coming in off of just a brief layoff, 50 days, been working hard. So I really like this horse to offer some value. Jose Ortiz is among the top jockeys at Churchill every year. So I like those odds as well. Now, on Kentucky Oaks Day, that's when it was. It was a very sloppy race. I went back and watched that one. The top and with the top choices looking to rate, she does, I think, maybe have a chance to steal this race out front if she can get out there. So kind of hard to wire them going 8.5 furlongs, but she's got a shot, I think. So let's get to some selections. All right. I think the number 6 genetics is the most experienced. Had 4 starts at 2 years old and 1 under her belt in 2024. Number 7, Queen of Paris, should improve in her 2nd start. I think number 5, Save Time, just missed. So definitely eligible to roll in this one. I'm probably going to have to wait and see on number 8, Murphy's Gift, but I do like the number 9, Sustancia, as a sleeper and the lone speed. So if you missed the Chicago Stakes, the overwhelming favorite horse in that race is number 3, Vava. So we're singling her in the 7th, and then so this is going to be leg 2, and we're going to spread 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in leg 2, and I might be looking to bet like a 6, maybe a 6-9 exacta or something like that. I'm not really sure where I'll end up on a single race bet. But this is more of a pick 5 show, so we move on. Race 9. Okay, race 9 is 6.5 furlongs, optional claiming in 1X, purse of 127,000. Fillies 3-year-olds, which have never won a race other than maiden claiming starter, so forth. So, pretty good race here. We'll start Hattie T. I'm not going to pass. I'll probably pass on that one. We're looking for speed. The early speed, the early pressers in Churchill and these sprints are just dominating. Wire to wire percentage way up. So we're looking for anywhere early speed in the 90s and late speed, at least overall speed 86. So Hattie T's not showing me that at all. We're going to skip her. The first one was Blue Squall, dropping down from 200K in this stakes race where she ran 5th. She lacked a rally down the stretch, but the cutback in distance should improve her chances. Her first 2 races were at Churchill Downs down here, and she had some good success, a couple of second-place finishes, running mid to upper 80s. She did hit 90 here, so she's right in the range with nice speed. So definitely one that we'll keep an eye on. And number 3 is a horse I look very closely at named Caress. I'm looking for some value. The speed is a little bit down in these last couple of races, but I wanted to try to make a case for her dropping down in class from the grade 3 on the turf where she didn't fare well. I watched the race. She was really up close to the leaders right at the top of the stretch. And then she appeared to not handle the turf very well. She kind of bobbled a little bit. The turf was good that day. And she just kind of looked a little bit wobbly in the stretch and started to get tired, probably because she was tired, getting a little wobbly. And I think the jockey, Junior Alvarado, noticed that. So I think he took his foot off the gas, which hence leads to the 8th place finish. So I think much better on the dirt. It should be a good improvement coming across for George Weaver and Tyler Gaffleone. Good combination of jockey trainer there. So I think at 15-1 morning line odds probably won't stay that way, but I think it'll offer good high single digit value, so to speak. So another one I like is Minx Palace, number 4. Broke her maiden first out and then hit the board twice. Was a beaten favorite in her last at Churchill Downs, going 8 furlongs uh, here, and she did was denied place, but she ran pretty well going a mile. So the cutback should do some good. Returning to a sprint, sharp workouts, fast dirt speed, got a 93 rating on the previous race in the slop at Churchill. So third start of the year, everything looks like a quality effort coming down the pike here. So we'll have that horse in the mix. Not going to go anywhere with the 5, probably not any of the 6 either. What's cracking is first time Lasix, but way too far back. I don't know if the Lasix, but the maiden 70K victory was pretty good at Turfway on the all weather. So, and the Lasix, you never know what could happen with the improvement, but I'm not seeing it. Jockey and trainer, no thanks. Now here you come again is Brad Cox and Florent Giroux. Another win contender from the Brad Cox barn. She dueled versus similar company in her last and making her second start of 2024. She ran second in the Grade 3 Adirondack last August at Saratoga against some really, really good horses. I thought that was a quality effort to finish off her 2-year-old season. So one under her belt, she's going to be definitely a formidable opponent today. Now, the next one is number 8. She Called. That's trained by Norm Cassie. And she lost by just a length and a half going 6 furlongs May 25th. She finished 4th, but was really, really close. I watched the race. She dueled hard down the stretch, good speed figures. But Ricardo Santana is not having the best run of it, so maybe he's due for some positive regression. But third in the prime power, so this horse is definitely one to keep an eye on. 7-2 morning line odds for a reason. I don't think I'll be doing anything with Amy Z. This is the last one I wanted to show you. Is George's Honey. I find interesting, trained by Mark Cassie. And she won first out last summer as a 2-year-old, May 19th. And I guess that was all Mark Cassie needed to see, because he just didn't run her again as a 2-year-old and just, developed her and brought her in, and has been developing her all year long, and now dropping her in for the first time here. So I don't know if that's good or bad. So I don't have that kind of inside information, but definitely a good looking horse. Got Irad Ortiz aboard, and is probably not going to be bet at all. Nobody likes betting a horse that ran one time a year ago. So you never know what can happen with a horse like that. So let's look at the selections and head to the next race. I do seem to be coming up chalky here in these first few races, but that's just how it goes. They're chalk for a reason, because they're good. They're the best. They ran the best. They're in the best form. They got the best trainers, the best jockeys. But I did make a case for number 3. I think for trainer George Weaver, ran pretty well from that. It was an outside post on the Aqueduct turf. That was the Grade 3 Soaring Softly we saw. She was in the top flight down the stretch, got tired. I talked about that. So in her previous, she led the way and then kept on down the stretch, but was caught on the outside, finishing third in that one. So it's been super hot and dry, just FYI. Obviously, everybody's having a heat wave, but we haven't had rain in a long time. So this track's going to be very, very fast and dry. It's going to be very hot in the afternoon when these races go off, mid 90s with the heat index over 100. So I don't know. I forgot to point it out in the past performances, but Caress was down in Gulfstream Park for the better part of this year, up till recently. So maybe being in Florida with that humidity might be helpful to her conditioning. So I did say number 4, Minx Palace looks strong in her race going a mile, and I like the cutback angle. The likely post time favorite, number 7, Here You Come Again, for Brad Cox, will try to win out front. This distance, like I said, whopping 33% wire rate. So she called is number 8, has the highest speed figures. And like I said, the number 10 is a wild card coming off the shelf. But we're not going to take any chances on this one because we're gonna narrow things down as we go along. This leg 3 is going to be 3, 7, 8, and 10. So on to the next race. Okay, this is race number 10, 6 furlongs in 3X. Looking at 100 speed. Like I said, it's dry, it's hot, it's fast. So we need a need for speed here. This is going to be for a 3-year-old and up, which never won 3 times other than maiden, claiming, starter, restricted, all that kind of stuff. And the claiming price is optional claiming. The price will be 100K. So not didn't see a whole lot in number 1 Radical Right. The speed figures are decent, but low percent trainer does get Tyler Gaffleone to retain the mount, so not too bad there. That does help his chances. 5-year-old gelding. This is a trackmate number 2, 9-2 Morning Line. Does have Dwayne Lucas, but he's not having a good meet out here and not really having a great record at this track, even though he's legendary winning Kentucky Derbies. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Little tidbits there on the notes. Rafi Bejarano will ride. So this one does have a 102 speed rating back here at Oaklawn Park, going 6 furlongs and got the win. Couple of 92 since then. Tried, I guess Dwayne saw something in this race, in these last 2 races, and this horse was ready to be tested. But he put Keith Asmussen on the horse, who had the unfortunate accident recently. But I've mentioned him for a 7 furlong sprint race, having a 5'10", 125-pound jockey aboard. Not the best idea there. So back to Bejarano, ran 4th here. So it's the, I guess, the 5th race in the form cycle. Dwayne likes to run them ragged, so to speak. So, but an interesting one to say the least. The next one up is Scotland, a name you'll find familiar, ring a bell. Last summer, grade 1 routes with middling results. Did win the Curlin Stakes before going at the Travers in the Pennsylvania Derby, those 2 races. And then they just decided to try to this year the sprints. So I don't know if maybe they're just getting him fit for later on in the summer to go back to routes, possibly Bill Mott and Irad Ortiz, because he's a stalker who make, but who can ran out front in the Curlin. So I don't understand why they wouldn't try to do that again with that kind of because I remember that race, because it led me to believe he had a shot in the Travers, and then he went out front and then faltered. So I don't know if they just gave up because he tried it again in the Pennsylvania Derby, and then they switched styles, I guess. I'm not really sure exactly what happened there, but it's a horse that should be considered just off the pure class, the trainer, and the jockey. So we're definitely not tossing that one. So down here a little bit further, let's see, which one are we looking? Payne was one I was that I'm not gonna consider. I just don't see, especially in the pick 5, a closer winning this race. And he does have some decent speed figures, but just the 1 win and a 50K allowance. So I just don't think he's worth looking at here. This is a weirdo horse. Confidence Game, if you remember, ran in the Derby, Rebel, won the Rebel. I forgot about that. And but then just somehow, I don't know, was just a one hit wonder, because it ran in stakes races and listed stakes and grade 3s and allowance, and just has not sniffed it. And now trying at a sprint. So I'm not really sure. They went and then tried at 5.5 on the turf to try to guess set him up for this. So I don't know. It just, if he, so be it. If that one gets out there, I don't understand that horse at all. So Next up, number 7, Champlin is first in prime power. So coming off a 6 furlong victory for 60K, got a big 98 speed figure, pressing out front, good speed. Same jockey, Mitchell Merle, uh, running good pace, not, plus figures in the pace. So 3 out of 4, strong contender here. So definitely going to have definitely 7 in there. And then we move to number 8. Happy is a Choice. John Ortiz is the trainer. Raylu Gutierrez not having a great meet either. So one that we should probably consider, maybe in exotics. I don't know. But dropping down from the grade 3, finished third behind Skelly. I watched this race and ran really well. So I don't know if the jockey switch is going to be a downgrade. It kind of feels that way to me. Ramon Vasquez down to Raylu Gutierrez. So that's a bit of a bummer. Coming off the layoff, 18% trainer in allowance races, though. So Happy as a Choice is one we're going to use because he got caught for second by Tejano Twist, which is another really good one. And so this brings us down to number 9, Surveillance, the 7-year-old. I really like this horse, actually. Claimed by Mike Maker off a 5.5 furlong victory in his last race, May 27th. Looked really good, held on. And so I think ready and ran really well in this on Thurby, which was the Thursday before Derby, the St. Matthews, this black listed or black stakes, 200K, and was right there in the lead amongst the leaders, battling down the stretch. This is where Bezos passed. I remember watching this race. I watched it today, actually, so I do remember it well. But he passed late Bourbon Bash and had passed Surveillance. But the big overwhelming favorite was Bango, who's a top level sprinter, and Surveillance outlasted Bango. Those two were like racing against each other. Had kind of a little head to head action going on there in a small field race. So it was third out of 5 horses, but still was a really good race though, I think. So I think it's going to offer some good value. Jose Ortiz, Mike Maker. Jose is like the second leading jockey, I believe, at Churchill. Very first or second, I can't remember off the top of my head. But the 7-year-old Gray still has some punch left, so we're digging that. All right, let's get into our final selections. So, like I said, I do like the 9 with the jockey upgrade. Mike Maker having a great meet. He's got 16 wins and 68 starts. That's about 24%. I think we'll offer some good value. Then I think that number 8 is next up for me, and then the 2, then the 3, then the 7 in that order. So we're going 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, spreading across 5 on this one. And I might look into something like a I don't know, an 8-9 exacta box, maybe like that for a bet. So let's move on to our final leg of the pick 5, race number 11, and we're going to change it up a little bit. Okay, like I said, we were doing dirt sprints. Now we're going 1.1 miles on the turf. Optional claimer 80K, N2X, purse of 134,000. And this is 3-year-olds and upward, which never won twice. Maiden claiming starter, all that other stuff. So pretty wide open, difficult race to handicap, but we'll go with the number 1. Looks a little bit interesting on paper, but not sure I like to switch to grass. 4-year-old Colt by Justify ran a pretty quality third here in the Pimlico Special. So not really sure why. I guess maybe they've just been looking to try this one on the turf. But I'm not really sure what the move is for because it's a drop-in class. I would have thought going back to dirt would have been the thing to do. But anyway, the next one after that, really, most of these look not so good. And for time's sake, we're skipping by them. Split the wickets. No thanks. Scooby Quando just tried the Derby Trail and was just garbage. Did win a optional claimer for 25K, but not really lived up to expectations on that one. Lincoln Highway, I think, will be the first one here. Vicky Oliver is the trainer, closed to fourth place going 8 furlongs at Churchill Downs on May 18th. That was her third off the layoff. Very hotly contested pace assisted her close. And I'm sorry, this is not fillies. We were doing so many fillies. This is a colt. Now, close fourth, like I said, third off layoff. And then the next one is Fair Dinkum, which is number one in prime power, but I'm not really 100% sure on that. Was beaten badly in the same eight furlong turf that we just discussed for the previous horse. That was back in November. Does have some 90 speed figures. So Joe Sharp and Tyler Gaffleone is a great jockey trainer combo, eligible to improve second off the layoff. It is, a long layoff, so maybe just needed this one and maybe just didn't quite pull the trigger, yielded down the stretch, took his foot off the gas, whatever. So we're definitely not tossing Fair Dinkum. Actually, when we get to the end, we might be doing that now that I take that back. Number 8 is Miranda Wrights. This one is third off the layoff for Mark Cassie. Cassie amongst the top with turf horses, male turf horses especially. And this one is just definitely going on the board with Jose Ortiz up 5-2. Probably going to be a favorite, but got to have him. Just running quality finishes here, going at Churchill Downs. And so we're going to be looking at that one. Oh, this was what I wanted to discuss. This pace, she's a stalker, so she's relying on a late kick. Was right in the mix, but this slow pace, 51.5, and she got in behind horses and was on the inside, lacked room, and then got through and squeezed up the middle and got the show. But she had plenty of horse down the stretch and just and he was just unable to kick clear. So that's why I'm so highly interested in this horse. And in the same race, Clyde's Got a Gun got off a bit slow and came around the outside and was closing hard to fifth in the same slow-paced race. The previous race at Churchill was a mile, much better, and he ran second in that race. If you recall, the previous horses we discussed were not even on the board. So I don't like any of these, any of the rest of them. So after I went through and I watched the races, just to wrap it up on Clyde's Got a Gun here. Was only beaten 2 lengths in that very slow pace when he closed, like I just discussed, on May 31st. Previous race, he ran a 90 speed figure, closed to second at a mile. So stretching out just a little bit. So this looks like a good spot, like a Goldilocks type of thing. So too fast or too slow, and then not far enough. This one just right. Maybe so. Let's look at the selections. Okay, so like I said, after watching that May 31st 9 furlong turf with both the 8 and the 9 in it and both closing hard on slow pace, 51 second for the opening half, I think they should be able to get Miranda Wrights. Like I said, could have won that race if would have been able to get clear from the inside in the stretch. And then the 9 got off slow. They made a huge rally. So 8-9 for leg 5, and I'm going to do an 8-9 exactus box in that race. So to sum things up, we have a late pick 5, and it's a reasonable one. So we're singling number 3 Vava in leg 1. Then leg 2, we okay. It's done. Okay, so for our late pick 5, leg 1, we said we're going number 3 Vava for the single. And then leg 2 is going to be 5 through 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then leg 3, we're going to go 3, 7, 8, and 10. So we're spreading in the middle 3 races. Leg 4 is going to be 2, 3, 7, and 9. And then leg 5 is going to be 8 and 9. So that is going to be $80 for a 50-cent pick 5, which is very reasonable. And we do have some good value in these middle 3 legs, I do believe, and even leg 5 maybe. So even if somehow Vava number 3 falters, or I don't know if she'll scratch out. I haven't heard anything, but I told you earlier in the week, if you watched the Chicago preview, there was a skin disease running through the DeVoe barn, Sherry DeVoe's barn, which just causes the horses to lose all their hair. And then Vava gets these pink spots on her side. So she didn't really say that they get sick or they're compromised in any way. And I don't know, with it being super hot out, not having any hair will make her sweat more or be hotter or any of that thing. I don't know anything about horse health or veterinarian type stuff. I just know if she runs, then she's good to go. If she doesn't, then figure something else out. And if somehow she doesn't win leg 1, you got to put late pick 4. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. I want to make sure you're all subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any more racing action this summer. We got lots coming up. Like I said, next weekend at Churchill Downs, we'll be back once again for Stephen Foster Day. So until then, best of luck this weekend. See you soon.